Hey there. Okay, I'm making one of my favorite things. I know I say that about everything, but I love food, so can't help it. Maple pecan scones. So there's a little story behind this recipe. Years ago, for you oldie but goodies, Starbucks, back when I liked their pastries, sorry Starbucks, but they're just not my favorite anymore. But they used to have these maple pecan scones that they had in the pastry case, and they were my favorite. I love maple flavored things. It's just one of my, I'm kind of a sucker for it. Like I just did those pumpkin pumpkin oatmeal cookies with the maple frosting that I kind of fudged on and added maple to because I love maple. Anyways, maple is delicious and I loved these scones, and then they stopped carrying them. And this was years ago, and then they redid all their pastries, and now, no, nothing that I really love. But I love these scones. So one day when I was just dreaming about them or daydreaming, I was thinking, oh, I wonder if I could find those again. But guess who also loved those scones? Miss Ree Drummond, the pioneer woman. Oh yeah, she had a thing for those scones too. See, I feel like I'm kind of like a kindred spirit with her. I love her. And so I actually found that she loved those scones. She, being brilliant like she is, researched and figured out how to basically replicate those scones. And so you guys, I made the recipe. It was online, probably on Food Network or something. And then my son got me this cookbook a few Christmases back. I don't know how many years, but anyways, guess what's in them? Maple pecan scones. So I'm making those today. They're so good. And usually I leave the pecans out, but I told Scott I will save him from himself and not leave the pecans out today, and then he can't have any. But I am going out of town. He's probably not happy about that. But I am going out of town, and I'm going to take them with me and share them with my friends. So let me show you my favorite scones. Let's go. All right, y'all. In my bowl, I've got 3 cups of all-purpose flour, a 1/3 cup of sugar, 5 teaspoons baking powder, a teaspoon of salt, and I just kind of whisk that together so it's all blended. Next up, it'll be 2 sticks of butter, and I only am doing 1 at a time, but here is my favorite trick for good quality scones, a grater. So my butter, I put into the freezer about a half hour before I want to make these things, because the trick with the scone is the layers of the butter, and basically as the heat hits the pastry or whatever, you've got these layers and flakes of butter mixed into your dough, and that's what gives them those light, crisp flavors. So you can also dice your butter really cold, and then with like a pastry cutter, mix it in really well, but I'm gonna actually grate mine. So I just got a piece of wax paper down here. Hopefully y'all can see this. Also, here's the pecans. Those are gonna get mixed in, but you can't really see on the side, but I will, with my plastic, I will hold on to it, and I'll just go like this and grate it just like I would a block of cheese. This is where it's really helpful to have your butter nice and cold, and this gets it into little bits. So while I go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and grate up my 2 sticks of butter, get them mixed in, and show you what comes next with the cream and an egg. One more thing, wanted to show you, this is the butter with the cheese scraper, or with the cheese grater. I'm gonna throw my pecans in and get those kind of incorporated right there. But this is just the 1 stick, and then I'll go ahead and do the 2, but I wanted you to see what it looks like. It's really important to work with it when it's really cold and frozen, because it is get real sticky, and I will carefully get this kind of pulled off, but I wanted you to see it it looks just like cheese. And your hands are warm, so it'll melt the butter. That's why you want to work quickly. So it's kind of hard for me to show it all, because this will get soft real quickly. But I will actually even put my bowl in the fridge a bit just to make sure that butter is nice and cold when I get it mixed in. And those are just a couple tricks. Keep your butter cold for awesome scones. All right, all mixed in. You can see it looks nice and kind of crumbly. And that's where grating the butter that's been frozen is really a quick, easy step versus like dicing it and then breaking it apart. You can use one of these things. It's called a pastry cutter, and these can be really handy as well if you don't want to do the grater thing. This is what I normally do as well, and you just kind of like keep scraping it from this section where it'll kind of get stuck. But working with really cold butter is the trick. And then in here, you guys, I've got 3/4 cup heavy cream and 1 egg that I have whisked together. And this is gonna get poured in here nice and cold. I did not put this out on the counter, let it come up to room temp or anything like that. Again, working with the cold ingredients is really kind of your best friend when trying to make scones. And I'm gonna be gently kind of just folding this and mixing this in till the ingredients begin to come together. And then I've pre-cleaned my countertop. I've got quartz and works not quite like marble, but it's pretty handy when I'm trying to do some special dough things. I can actually put stuff straight on here and it works to roll directly on. So I'll get this mixed together. This is when you cannot panic. You just have to trust that it will come together, because you think, wait, it's not like a cookie dough where it's all blended, but that's okay because you need that butter to kind of be in layers. It's not going to be like a perfectly blended, perfectly mixed dough. It kind of just barely holds together, and then you know you're going to be fine. So you just kind of gently get this so it's enough sticking together, turn it out on the counter, and then I'm going to form it into a big circle. Here's the before. I want you to see. Look how crumbly it is. I'm going to work with it. It'll take me a little bit, so I'm not going to film the whole thing, but I want you to see the before, and then you'll see the after in just a sec. Dun, da, da, da. Look at that. So I just kind of kept doing this, pressing down, using my hand. You can, if your counters are not going to be a good non-stick option, you can just do a big cutting board. So, as Ree says in her book, do not worry your happy little heart. It's going to all come together, and you can see it did. So I will take a very sharp knife and cut these. You can cut whatever shape you want, but I'm going to cut them into little triangles. So cutting here, you can kind of get the general idea. Go half right here. So I'm going to do kind of like long, skinny, just like this. And I have my baking sheet over here prepared with a little parchment, my friend parchment. Just get my knife under there and carefully, see, it came together. And this little end, you guys, kind of popped off. I'm just going to squeeze them. It's almost like Play-Doh. And I will set this on my baking sheet like that. Go around and do the rest, and then they're ready to bake. These little babies have gone into a 350-degree oven, 22 to 26 minutes. And I will show you what happens next. Frosting. Yay. So I got a little ahead of myself because they came out of the oven, they cooled, made the frosting and frosted them because I was pretty much dying to eat one, which I did. And then about this much through my scone, I was like, probably need to film this part so people can see me groan, because these are sublime, like flaky, buttery, crispy, mapley, that little bit of nutty. They kind of have a little bit of a saltiness, even though you use unsalted butter in the recipe. You do a dash of salt, but I don't know, it's just, it is all the things. It's a total delight of the bite. So my frosting, it makes a lot of frosting. I kind of wonder if you could stretch it, if you cut the frosting in half, but the recipe is a pound of powdered sugar, so a whole box, 1/4 cup of whole milk, and a half a stick of butter, so a 1/4 stick of butter that you melt, and then 2 teaspoons of maple extract, so that's your maple part of the scone, and a dash of salt, and a little splash of strongly brewed coffee. So Scott got to have a cup of coffee this afternoon, so just because, you know, I'll sacrifice for you. Oh, the layers, it's like the most tender, light, delicious scone. You guys, it's so good. Really, I mean, I almost consumed an entire one before I decided to let you in on it, so maybe that's an indicator. Make these scones. They're very fall, they're very fun. I'm actually, because there's nuts in here, I have a few friends I'm gonna be hanging out with this week. I'm gonna share, but we don't need this many scones. So now I'm gonna be a scone fairy because I have to go to the store and do some more shopping for some other things. So I'm gonna deliver a few scones, and give them away and bless other people. So anyways, you could do that too. Just bake them for fun and have one and give the rest away. So cheers to scones. Delight of the bite. Subscribe, share, tell your friends. Thank you so much for watching. Happy fall, y'all, and I hope you're enjoying the season. See ya.